Okay, student, we have physics lab. Uh, in this section, we will cover experiments for mechanics, yeah, motions. But today we will discuss about the introduction to lab and experiment for measurements. That how you can measure, yeah, what are different types of measurement instrument. Okay, so these are outlined for your physics lab. First one, measurement and error analysis. It will be theory, theoretical concepts, and then we will start first experiment using measuring instruments. Then we have physics, graphical analysis, momentum, simple harmonic motion, friction, conservation of energy, and G value, acceleration due to gravity. Correct? So, in online classes, we only depend upon animations and simulations. So we don't have devices physically, but from internet we can find animations and simulation. So with the help of this, I will just introduce so how we can solve, yeah, how we can do an experiment. What are the instruments used for example, what are the equipment used for the experiment, and what will be the results. Okay. So what is the purpose of laboratory work? Actually, what we study in class theoretically, so we will prove in lab. We will, for example, if we have equations, yeah, we have motion laws, for example, Newton laws, first law, second law. So in class we will discuss only theoretical concept, but in lab we will prove these if these are really happens or not. So these are the purpose of labs. Okay, we use some statistical models calculations for experiments like we have averages, we have standard deviation, correlation, coefficient of determination, least square. For example, performing every experiment, we need to take average value. Like for example, although there are different types of averages, but we use mean value, where mean is equal to sum of data divided by number of data. For example, if we have one number like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So how we can take average? So sum of all data 30 divided by number of data 5 equal to what? 6. So 6 is the average value. Same, we have standard deviation. Averages, we have standard deviation. Actually, standard deviation show error like we have spread in the data. So how we can find what is the formula of standard deviation? So formula of standard deviation is sigma equal to what? Equal to root x minus x average whole square divided by n. Formula of standard deviation. Standard deviation show risk, you can see variation in the data or spread in the data. For example, same data we have this one. So how we can find standard deviation? Like first of all, we have data. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Then what we have average, so average value same. We need to add all the data like it is sum of data 30 divided by number of data 5 equal to what? Equal to 6. So then we can find x minus x average. X, these values are x values, x average is 6. So 2 minus 6. Subtract this average value from each and every data. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. 4 minus 6 is minus 2. 6 minus 6 equal to 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. And then we have 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. You can see in formula this is x minus x average whole square. So taking square x minus x average whole square. So minus 4 square is 16, 2 square is 4, 0 square, 2 square and 4 square. 4 square is 16. So adding all these data, sum of all these data equal to 40. 20 plus 20 equal to 40. So sigma, yeah, standard deviation equal to uh, x minus x average whole square divided by n, where n is the number of data. So uh, sum of x minus x average equal to 40 divided by number of data. Number of data is 5. So 40 divided by 5 is 8. So 8 root equal to what? 2.24 something. So this is actually dispersion from average value. If we can say that, for example, our average value is 6. So when you write, for example, x average plus minus uh, standard deviation divided by n root, where n is the number of data. So this is actually error factor. Uh, Sometimes we use this for estimation, and there are two types of estimation. One is called point estimation. Second one is interval estimation. Point estimation, let's suppose if I say that average age of student, for example, in physics class, average age is, let's suppose, 22. This is average age of students in your class, physics class. This is called point estimation. This is just a single point, 22. But when we want to say a range of values like interval from 15 to 20, so then we use this sigma. Like from this example, we have 2.2. So we can write interval estimation that 22 plus minus, we have 2.2 value. Yeah, 2.24 value. So in this case, if we subtract 222 minus 2.2, then if you add with 22 plus 2.2, so 22 minus 2.2 equal to what? This one is 17.8. When you add, so 22 plus 2 equal to 24.2. So this is actually interval estimation. So we can say that average age of student in physics class is from 17.8 till 24.2. Correct? So this sigma, yeah, standard deviation show a spread in the data, or we use this for interval estimation. Point estimation just 22, average age is 22. But when we say average age is from 20 to 25, or average age is, for example, from 15 to 20, then we use sigma. And sigma standard deviation, this method is for finding sigma. Same we have correlation. Correlation when when you are comparing two different variables, like if you are comparing speed in time, velocity in time, acceleration in time, force and acceleration, two different values. So according to correlation, they will show the relationship type. That, for example, what type of relation present? Relation is positive, relation is negative, or relation is linear, non-linear, simple, partial. There are different type of relation. uh, Positive relation, when one variable increase, other will also increase. Like for example, if number of students increase, share will also increase in your class. Same, for example, time is passing, for example, time increase, also speed is increasing. Yeah, distance cover is also increasing with the passage of time, with the passing of time. There are some negative relation, like for example, mass and force. For example, mass and acceleration, negative relation. For example, if you apply force on a body, if you are increasing mass, so acceleration will decrease. So these are types of relation. Linear relation, in linear relation, the change is constant. In non-linear relation, change is not constant. But we will discuss these: correlation, coefficient of determination, and least square fit formula. when we need, for example, incoming experiments. So for now, we have only averages and standard deviation. Averages, you know that sum of all data divided by number of data, number of observations. Standard deviation shows spread, and method used for standard deviation is, yeah, this is the formula for standard deviation. We have x minus x average whole square divided by n under the rule. Okay. Uh, we use graphs to show relationship between different variables. And for example, usually if we have graph like y-axis and x-axis, so we use this y-axis for dependent variable and x-axis for independent variable. Correct? These are, for example, marks with numbers. So you can give any number. For example, it depends upon your observation. If your observations are for small, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If, for example, observation are large, you can start from 100, 200, 300, 400. It means you need to write a scale for this. For example, if we have one, this complete, what we can say, this is square, in graph paper, we have squares. If these like squares. So you can consider that these squares, for example, one square equal to what? 10 units, one square equal to 100 units. It depends upon your data, it depends upon your observation. Correct? But y-axis we use for dependent variable and x-axis we use for independent variable. Like if you want to draw the graph of speed and time, so speed is a dependent variable, or velocity is a dependent variable. So speed will be on y-axis, v, or velocity, and time will be on x-axis because time is independent variable. Then you can find the relationship and graph show relationship. For example, relation is linear, non-linear. For example, it is parabola or different type of relation possible. uh, Increasing relation also possible. Okay, sometimes decreasing relation, negative relation also possible. So we use graph. Okay, measurement in uncertainties like errors. So always we receive errors. It's very difficult to receive data without error. So always we have errors. So how you can define error? Yeah, what is the types of error? Actually, error means error is the actual value minus measure value. For example, we have G value. So G is 9.8. This is average value, meter per second square. For example, near the surface of Earth, the G value is 9.8. But for example, if you are counting, this is actual value. Yeah, we also call this true value, original value, true value, actual value. So for example, we are comparing, we are for example finding the value of G. So we receive data, for example, let's suppose 8.6. This is our measured value. So then there is error because actual true value is 9.8. So we receive 8.6, correct? So what is error there? So error is equal to actual value minus measured value, and we also use the absolute value. So actual value is actually 9.8 minus measure value is 8.6. So 9.8 minus 8.6 equal to what? Minus 8.6, 1.2. So we call this is 1.2 is the error. Correct? Okay. There are different types of error. For example, when we are conducting experiments, so we receive different type of errors. So errors, different books show different types of errors. Like In some books, there are three types of errors. One is like personal error. Second type is systematic error. Third one is random error. Personal error, for example, due to a person. Like, for example, untrained people. For example, if you want to find something, and the person who is performing experiment don't know about experiment, don't know how to use machines, don't know how to use electronic devices. So there will be some error. That error is due to a person. So that one is called personal error. We have systematic error. Systematic actually when there is error in system. System means like electronic devices. For example, if you are using a software, if you are using, for example, calculator, and there is some error in calculator, 2 plus 2 show 10, 2 plus 5 show 20. So person is good, he is, for example, when trained, he know how to work, but there is error in system. If you are using, for example, different equipments, and there is some errors in equipment, so that error is called what? Systematic error. Like software, like if you are using laptop computer, or if you are using, for example, calculator, so if there is any problem in calculator or electronic devices, we call that type of error a systematic error. Okay, we have random error. Random error, actually these are like when due to weather condition, natural phenomena. For example, when there is humidity, when there is, for example, air, when there is, for example, raining, when there is snow, for example, some experiment, for example, also affected by the weather condition. When there is very hot summer, winter season, when there is, for example, air. So these type of errors are called due to, these type of errors are random errors, like weather condition, natural phenomena, snow, for example, when there is raining, when there is, for example, lack of light, when there is, for example, dark. So, but some books, uh, they actually combine these two, personal and systematic error. These are in one group. So random error, and these are personal and systematic. They gave name personal error. Sorry, systematic error. Okay, random error and systematic error. These are how to minimize these errors. Okay, percentage error and percentage differences. So, how to find percentage error? So, for percentage error, we have formula. The measured value minus accepted value. Yeah, you can say that measured value minus actual value divided by also actual value, but with absolute value multiply with 100. And same percentage difference between your observation. So high value minus low value divided by average value multiplied with 100%. For example, if you are performing one experiment and actual results are, let's suppose, 10, but measured results are, let's suppose, 11.1. So what is percentage error? So percentage error means the measured value 11.1 minus actual value is 10 divided by what? Divided by same your actual value multiply with 100%. So 11.1 minus 10 equal to what? This is 1.1 multiply with 100 and divided by 10. So this will give you the percentage error. 1.1 multiply with 100, then also divided by 10 equal to 11%. So percentage error is 11%. Great, excellent. Okay, main concept in lab is accuracy and precision. What is different between accuracy and precision? Yeah, accurate data and precise data. In Dari we say that درست و دقیق, so accurate and precise. So difference between accuracy and precision. Okay, the accuracy is the closeness of data to the original data. Yeah, closeness of your result to the original video. Yeah, degree of closeness to the true video is called accuracy. Accuracy, yeah, accurate, correct. And precision actually how data close to each other. Uh, I will give you one example. For example, in your class, there are 30 chairs, and we select, for example, three students from your class to count these chairs. A, B, C, these three students. First one, second one, and third one. For example, first one, A, count chairs, and he says, for example, there are 35 chairs. First observation, there are 35 chairs according to A. Again, he is counting and he says that there are, for example, 30 chairs. Third time he is counting and he says that there are 25 chairs. So now you can see the 35, 30, and 5. There are five differences. So working of a student is not good because there is five difference in their observation. Yeah, in his observation. So we cannot say that this is not a precise working. Precision means that how much data close to each other. 35 with 30 and 30 with 25. So when data are close to each other, we say that that one is a precise data. So accuracy depend upon the result. So in physics lab or any lab, we take average video. So if we take average, so sum of all data, 35 when add with 30 with 25. 3 observation divided by number. So 3 observation divided by 3. So when you add these, 90 divided by 3 equal to what? Average is 30. Although his working was not good working, but his result is 30. His average is 30. So we can say that the working of A is correct, yeah, accurate, because result is close to, yeah, near to what? The original video. Original video was 30. This was original video. Now B is counting second person. And according to, for example, B, there are how many chairs? Let's suppose 31 chairs. Again, he is counting. So he says that there are 32 chairs. Third time he is counting and he says there are 33 chairs. So again, you can see data very close to each other, 31, 32, and 30. So we can say that working of B is a precise working because all data are close to each other. So when we take average, so average, if you add all these equal to 96 divided by 3 equal to what? 32. So result is 32, not accurate because our original result is 30, but measured value is 32. So working of B is actually a precise working but not accurate working because accuracy, for accuracy your result will be close to the original video. So there is difference between 30 and 32. Okay, now see. Uh, see, start calculations, counting chairs, and he says that there are, let's suppose, 29 chairs. Second time he counts 30 chairs, and third time he says that there are 31 chairs. So now, what about the working of C? So from observation 29, 30, and 31, difference is only 1. So we can say that working of C is a precise working because data close to each other. If you take average of this data, so average is equal to 29 plus 30 plus 31 divided by 3. So equal to 90 divided by 3 equal to what? 30. So C result of C is both precise data, data close to each other, and result is close to what? Yeah, equal to the original video, true video. So we can say that the working of C is both precise as well as accurate. Okay, from this experiment, yeah, from this example, you can see the dirt game of arrows. So for example, first person hit four arrows. You can see on this position, second person, this position, and third one. So now tell me which one is accurate and which one is precise. Yes, but again, that means wait.
The third one is accurate.
Third one is
Accurate.
okay. Wait. Can you see slide? Yes, Mister.
Yes, sir.
Okay, which one is accurate, which one is precise, and which one is both?
The third one is both precise and accurate, I guess.
Yes,
The second one is accurate.
accurate.
Uh, it should be precise, I guess.
Okay, for example, in this game, our target area, our true value, our true result is like central video. For example, you need to hit this area, but one person hit four arrows, and they are, for example, not accurate because not central area. But these all four arrows are very close to each other. Correct? So we can say that working of first person is a precise working because all arrows are very close to each other. All data, they are very close to each other. So precise working. Second person. Second person hits the central area. It means accurate area, correct location. But you can see the difference between the data. So distance between these data is very, for example, so we can say that working of second person is accurate, but not precise because data are not close to each other. First one is precise, but not accurate result. This one is accurate, but not precise. Third person hits central area and all arrows are very close to each other. So this one is both accuracy and precision. While performing experiments, so we need both of them. We need accurate result as well as precise result. Clear?
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, your result will be close to original video, true video, and your observation will be close to each other. For example, like uh, one of your students, for example, enter the class 6 at 8 o'clock. Next day, for example, he enters at 9 o'clock. So difference between 8 to 9, this is 1 hour. So we cannot say that that student is a good student. That one is not a precise, a regular student. So when data are close to each other, so we say that that one is a okay precise. So accuracy and precision. Uh, okay, you know what is round up. So when you are, for example, decreasing the number of digits, so there is one a small rule. You can say a very easy rule. So different students, for example, different books show different type of rule. But I will tell you, for example, in let's suppose in one result you receive the observation like 6.4836, for example 875, let's suppose 4. So usually we use two decimal places, uh, 2 dp or 1 dp, one decimal places. After decimal we need just one number or we need two numbers. So you can see here, after decimal, there are, I think, 8 numbers. So reducing these number of digits like 4, 5, 7 to this number, only after decimal we need one number or two number. So that rule is called what? That rule is called round off. The decreasing the number of digits in a figure in a number is called what? Round off. So rule is that simple rule. They find out last two numbers. You can see here last two number 54. So 54 close to 50 or close to 60. Yes, yes. So
It's
50,
close
yeah.
to
So this one,
50.
yeah, this one is close to 50. So you can write this number like 6.48, 36,875, and for example 0, 50. But after decimal we don't write 0. So we reduce one number. So we have now 75. So now check 75. So 75 close to what? 80 or 70? Yeah,
both.
yeah, it is in the middle.
In the middle.
So yeah, in this case, you need to check this 7, this first number. Is that one number is even number or odd number? This first 7 number, if we have 35, 55, any number, so this 7 number, this number, first number. If this number is even number, so we, let's suppose if we have 65 or we have 45 or 85, so then we decrease this number. For even number, you need to decrease. Decrease means you need to write 70. But if number is odd number, like if we have 75, 55, 35, 95, so this number is odd number, so then you need to increase this number. So now we have 75, so you can replace 75 by 80 because 7 is even odd number. So you can write this number is 6.4836 and we have 8. 0 but no need of writing 0. 80. Next we have 88. So 88 close to 90. So you can write 6.4836 and you can replace 88 by 90. So write down only 9. Again we have 69. So 69 close to 60 or 70. So 69 close to 70. So you can write 6.483 and 7. 7 means 70. Again we have 37. So 37 close to 30 or 40. 37 close to 40. So you can write 6.4, 8 and 4. Again we have 84. So 84 close to what? 80. So 6.4 and 8. Again, okay, this one is correct. Again, if you want to write down this up to one decimal place, so 48 close to what? 50. So you can write 6.5. This rule is called what? Round up. Two types, round up and round down. Combine these two are called what? Round off. Okay. So you can check these. We have round up. Okay, now we are going to start our experiment, but I think meeting time is only 1 minute remaining, so I will start another one.